Hi, I'm Beck and welcome to my February to be read list. I have a lot of romance and contemporary on this list because in Australia it is summer during this time of year, and so because of that I kind of mood read based on the season. So I'm trying to smash out a lot of contemporary books, but there are one or two fantasy picks on here as well, so stay tuned. The first of which is a bit of a caveat to one of the goals I set this year, because I said to myself I'm not allowed any carryovers because I carried over a lot of books in my previous year to different months, and that kind of burned me out because I could recognize that I wasn't reading them even though I was putting them on different to be read videos, and I was like, not again. However, this is kind of an outlier to the circumstance, and that is Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. So I'm filming this video kind of mid to late January, and I'm waiting for my friend's copy of this to arrive so we can buddy read this together. So I do have a strategy of reading this, and it does rely on that timing and both of our routines. So I think this will either get finished either really quickly or it will get buddy read over the end of January into February. So that's why I'm including it, because it is a new release that I am highly anticipating, and I have a recap for Ninth House as well. And I'm just super excited to get to it because I had to wait 2 years for this book, unlike all of the other people who have recently picked up the series and now get to jump straight into this. So urban fantasy following Galaxy Stern or Alex Stern, and there are secret societies at Yale University which are kind of more like cults, I guess, that have their rituals, and she is brought on board and given a scholarship to Yale because she has the rare ability to see ghosts, and because of this ability she helps Darlington and the dean of this university keep all of the rituals in check and they don't go too far awry. However, a body appears. So there is a whole mystery going on in here, as well as Alex learning all of the underground magics associated, and I just loved it so much. It is dark, it is adult, and I'm again highly anticipating this, so I need to get onto it as soon as possible. And then it would not be a February TBR without discussing a new release that is coming out at the end of this month, and that is the sequel to Priority of the Orange Tree, or the prequel rather to Priority of the Orange Tree, called A Day of Fallen Night, which I'll put here. I don't honestly know the plot of this one at all, but I do know that this really established a lot of the world building around the Priority and the witches coven that was associated with that, and there are dragons in it, so you know, for a fantasy, what more could you honestly want? And I don't want to know too much about it going into it because I like stuff like this being a surprise, and Samantha Shannon is really great at world building, which is something that I'm quite excited for as well. Then I have a romance, which is The Charm Offensive, and it seems to be about two characters, Dev and Charlie, and I believe this is a male-male romance, and Dev runs a reality TV show and Charlie is the one who is attending with a whole bunch of co-hosts, and so I think Charlie is trying to find love and connect to his Prince Charming or whatever, and then Dev is realizing that he has a greater connection to Charlie than Charlie has to all of the co-hosts when they're talking about the show behind the scenes. That is the quick rough synopsis I can give you from briefly reading the back, but I really hope that this holds up to my expectations because I'm really hoping to love this and give it 5 stars, and if it doesn't hit 5 stars for me, I'm going to be super disappointed. Of course, I'm going to start a book on a TBR and go, I want to give it a high rating, but this low-key should have been on my 5-star predictions list because I'm really hyped about it. And also, you wouldn't have seen this yet because I got it recently from a friend who was clearing off her reading shelf, and I haven't put it in a book haul, so sneaky peek at a book haul that is eventually coming up at the end of February. And then to kind of align with my continue reading series goal, this loosely kind of fits that even though it's contemporary, and that is for Alice Oseman. So I'll either read Loveless or I Was Born for This next. I think her books are in a particular order of publication, and different characters show up at different times, and it's not always clear which character is which is nice. It's kind of like a little cameo for readers who are in the know. But I know that Loveless has an ace or asexual character in it, and I don't know anything about Born for This, and I recently read Radio Silence and enjoyed it, so I'm keen to continue on with Oseman's work. I don't know if I'll read both or if I'll just read one, but I need to figure out what my reading landscape is going to look like for the month, so the only way to figure that out is to get stuck in. And then going from young adult into adult, I don't know if I might end up reading this during January because I've still got a little bit of time left in January while filming this video, but I'm reading It Happened One Summer, and I realize it also has a sequel called hook, line and sinker. It's got a light blue cover and I'm really enjoying this one, and so I think that I'll probably enjoy the continuation. So this is kind of like my first foray into Tessa Bailey, and I see her books everywhere, so I'm happy that I'm enjoying what I have started with, to be honest. This one follows Piper and Brendan, so it's kind of like if you've seen Schitt's Creek, it's a similar premise. So Piper is this party girl from LA and she gets into a little bit of trouble, and her father sends her off to this town called Westport, and while she's there she meets this sea captain called Brendan, and she gets sent back to this town because she needs to have a reality check. Her sister Hannah goes with her, and it's about them learning that they need to fend for themselves and kind of getting a bit of perspective based on who they are and their responsibilities, because they've not really had any of that happen for them in LA with all of this privilege and money and kind of imagery that they think they need to make for themselves. So it's really interesting seeing these characters come kind of to ground level and realize more so who they are, and I'm really looking forward to continuing Piper's story but also reading into the sequel as well. So I think I might end up finishing the audiobook during January, but in case I don't, it is on this TBR. And then second last on this to be read video is The Black Hawks, and this is a book that has popped up a little bit in 2022 and I've put it on a goals video for 2023. So this is me saying that it's on February's list to read because I think I might do the audiobook for this one as well. And it's obviously a fantasy, but it's also not that long. And this follows veteran Chell, and he's a knight, and I think he has to transport somebody that he doesn't want to transport. So it's going to make for a very sarcastic and tension-rife story. And I think I'm going to enjoy this one quite a lot as well. My reading for 2023 has really taken off and I'm really enjoying everything so far. And I think this is also going to fall into that ballpark. And then lastly is also another sneak peek into an up and coming book haul, and that is a book by Nina Kenwood. She wrote It Sounded Better in My Head, which I read like a year and a half or something ago, and I absolutely adored it. This made me laugh out loud. It's a beautiful rom-com, and it's about Australian people and after they finish high school. So when they are about 18, they're on that kind of gap before they start university. And so I like the fact that the characters didn't necessarily have to deal with high school. They're kind of in that transitional period, and it also had the only one bed trope. So you have been told, go pick this up, it's a delight, as the yellow cover would suggest. But Unnecessary Drama came out as well, I think early this year, by this author, and this follows Brooke, and it says, when Brooke arrives in her share house to begin her new life as a university student, she's ready and organised, anxiously armed with lists and apps for every situation. What she hasn't prepared for is a distinct lack of rules, or for one of her housemates to be her best friend turned enemy from high school, Jessie. Determined to avoid any unnecessary drama, Brooke vows to simply stay out of his way, but ignoring Jessie turns out to be a lot harder than she thought. Enemies to lovers and characters that are aged up, so it's not quite young adult, because I'm kind of phasing out of reading mostly young adult. I'm looking forward to reading this because it follows actual sharehouse university students, which is going to be an exceptional time. I'm imagining. I really like this author, and it's another romance author that I would like to make like an auto by author for myself. So I'm hoping that the book that I read by her wasn't a fluke and that I love this one as well. So there you have it. That is my very mixed February to be read list, and I really hope that I find some 5-star books in here. But let me know if any of these are on your radar. If you've read any of them, I would really love to know. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.